I turned this into this, but did it make it any better? Let's find out.
I'm a complete beginner looking to improve my palate and learn more about bourbon, so come along with me.
This cheap bourbon wasn't really bad, but it wasn't good. Can we make it any better? All right, I tried this cheap bourbon a week or two ago, and you see I haven't drank very much of it. But it's really kind of bourbon with some neutral spirits, so it's really watered down. It's not bad, but it's not good. But can we make this better? Can we age this a little more in a charred oak barrel for a while and give it more of a real bourbon taste? So I actually make rings from bourbon barrel wood, and I've got some staves out of my shop. I also make rings from the deck of battleships, from Major League Baseball bats, from M1 Garand stocks, all kinds of woods. But I do make some rings from bourbon barrels, and let's go out in the shop, maybe cut some staves out of a bourbon barrel, and see if we can maybe re-age this guy. All right, this is a bourbon barrel stave, and I use this to make rings. I cut little pieces of this wood, and then I'll stabilize it in resin, and then make rings out of it. But this is just raw from the bourbon barrel. Going to go ahead and cut a couple of pieces off of this that we can use to try to finish up that bourbon, or make that bourbon a little better. Go ahead and age it a little more. So let's go ahead and cut this guy up so we can fit this into that jar. All right, these pieces already have some char on it, but you see I cut around it, and maybe just put a little bit more char on there, maybe on some of the other edges, just see how that works. All right, we got a good decent char on all three of these guys, and they're cooling down. So let's go ahead and take them in, and we'll put them in that jar, and we will add the bourbon, and then we'll set them up for aging in my aging warehouse. All right, we're back, and I've got my barrel here, and I've got my charred staves, and I got a nice char all the way around on them. And I did some calculation, and a bourbon barrel, a 53-gallon bourbon barrel, I got it on my computer over here. The surface area on the inside is about 3,600 square inches. That translates to 87.4 square inches per gallon of, that's how much surface area of char that a gallon of bourbon would be in contact with. So since this guy's only, he's only a pint, so I think I've calculated it's about 8.5 square inches of surface area, of charred surface area, would be equivalent to being in a barrel. But so I got these guys, they're about 2 inches by 1/2 inch. So each one of these is 1, 2, 3, 4.5 square inches. So that's probably about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 square inches. So a little, almost twice what the contact surface of bourbon to char would be in a bourbon barrel. Of course, that's really, you know, Kentucky windage. So let's go ahead and put these guys in here. And I basically just got them down so they'll fit kind of nice in there. And then we will pour in pseudo white dog, which is really just this cheapest bourbon I could find from the previous video. If you haven't watched that video, you might want to see it. So we go ahead and fill him up, and we will go ahead and put him in my wonderful aging warehouse built just for this. So let's go out and do that. So I whipped up this brick aging warehouse right here on my patio just for this video. Actually, this is just my my outdoor kitchen, and it's got a kind of a storage area here, but it gets some good sun in the morning, so it gets kind of warm during the day. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this guy in here where he can just sit, and right up against that wall where he gets the heat from the sun, and we'll just let him age. He'll get hot during the day, get cool during the night, hot, cool, hot, cool, hot, cool, hot, cool, hopefully kind of like the way the aging in a warehouse works. So let's come back in a few weeks and see how we're doing. All right, it is 3 weeks later, and we have had weather in the hundreds here in Texas. So after about 3 weeks of aging in our aging warehouse, we're going to go ahead and pull this guy back out. Ugh. And see what we have. Going to take him in and give it a taste and see if we've improved this bourbon or maybe even made it worse. So let's check it out. Alright, this has been aging for 3 weeks and temperatures well into the hundreds. So let's go ahead and open this guy up, and we will take out those wooden staves. Ooh, and take it out. So pull out the wood. And we'll pour us a little dram and test it out. I poured a little dram of the original Kentucky Gentleman. That's what this started as before we aged it. Now we're just going ahead and pour ourselves a little bit and do a little comparison here of our finely aged. And if you notice, it is darker. It has darkened up, and of course, I guess from with the being in the in this thing with the wood in this jar with that wood kind of gave it a little bit more color. But did it improve it? Did it make it any better? Let's have to find out. We'll try it out. All right, let's give the original. Let's go back to the Kentucky Gentleman. Give it a little sniff. It definitely has that alcohol smell. A little bit of corn taste, but just kind of an overall alcohol, kind of like a vodka taste over it. So it wasn't really good bourbon. So it was pretty cheap. It's kind of the cheapest stuff you can get. Okay. So now let's try it. Let's just see if we made it any better, if it's mellowed it out. It's smelling a little different. Maybe a little sweeter. Maybe a little smoother. Kind of a caramel smell. Just a little bit. So let's give it a taste and see if we have any difference. Actually, it does. It has made it a little smoother. I was thinking it would be really, really oaky, really woody taste, but no. I think the extra aging with that charred oak just kind of smoothed it out. Maybe get a little bit of the spice. So I think it made it better. It did make it better. Would I buy this and try to do this regularly? No, I don't think so. I think it was a good experiment, and I've seen where you can buy barrels, small barrels, and age your spirits at home. You can age neutral spirits. Some of these kits you add things to the spirit. Some of them you just literally put spirits in a barrel. That's, I'm not sure if you char it yourself or not, or if they come charred, but it might be something to try. I mean, it really wasn't hard. I got a lot of woodworking tools and had access to some good American white oak, but you can also buy little oak spirals that you can char yourself, and you can get them on the internet. I think you can get them on Amazon, and try this at home. Take some, maybe not this cheap of bourbon, maybe something that's a little bit better, but maybe has some a little bit of age on it, or maybe even try like a white dog. I know you can buy. You can buy the white dog, which is the unaged spirits, and do the whole aging yourself. Try that. Might be kind of a fun project. But yeah, it definitely did improve it. So thanks for joining. It was kind of just a little experiment to see if we could age bourbon and make it a little better than cheap bourbon. And I think it did that. So thanks for watching. Drink responsibly. I'll see you next time, and in the meantime, enjoy.